Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Yes, Halima, walaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Good. Okay. So this chapter was left in the middle. I'm thinking to complete this chapter today. Okay, no?
Which chapter, sir?
This body movement was left in the batch. Okay.
Sir, I got my revision paper. 3 weeks.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
There you had done some mistakes in the multiple choice questions. Okay, no? Also,
Sir,
like,
I'm saying that I got in my class.
okay, in your school you are saying.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you have got it. Just let me check it if I have received anything. Okay, yeah. So I have got it. So thereby it's like you had to give the test. Okay,
What?
and you completed the test.
No, sir.
Okay, so like you have to do this at home, like, or will it be done in the school?
Sir, I have to do it at home and then ma'am will like discuss.
Okay, okay, okay. So let's do one thing. How about we discuss that then? Only you are there in
Yes.
the class. Okay, no? Okay, okay. Give me a minute and I will be resharing my screen. Okay, now.
Okay.
When did you got the sheet? You got it today?
Sir, 2 3 days before.
Okay, okay. Okay. So that is the revision for the midterm exam. All right. So there are high order thinking questions that carries a marks of 24, while from knowledge, understanding, and application, it carries 56 marks. The total it is of 80 marks. All right. Okay, let's straight jump into the questions. Okay, now. Okay. Question number 1. By the way, have you tried doing this, or like right now only you have opened it? Have you tried doing any of the questions yourself? Not yet.
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Anyways. Okay, so the first question is Rahul often skips meals and does not consume enough meat or legumes. So which of the following component deficiency diseases may Rahul suffer from? So if he's not consuming enough meat or legumes,
Sir, fiber.
fiber is present only in the plant-based food, no?
Oh yeah. Sir, proteins. Because
Proteins,
carbohydrates for grains,
exactly.
water, it's drinking.
Mhm.
Fiber is for the plants.
Exactly. Okay, now. So thereby he is missing the uh, uh, he's missing the proteins in the food. Okay, now.
Yeah.
So he will be suffering from some of the diseases. Okay. All right, moving on to the next question. The question is the number of magnetic poles. So how many magnetic poles are there in a horseshoe
2,
magnet?
sir.
Exactly two. So whatever would be the shape of the magnet, it will be having exactly two. It's north and the south pole. Okay,
Yeah.
next question. Harshita, about some vegetables such as French beans, ladyfinger, green chilies, etc., and she mixed all of them in a bag. And potatoes, all of them were mixed in a bag. So, which of the following method of separation would be most appropriate? It's very simple.
Hand pick.
Hand picking, obviously. Okay. Rita puts two different objects in each of the following container. So the container one contains copper coin and iron nail. Copper two contains as follows, like the given objects are mentioned here in the different
Yeah.
containers. So she can use a magnet to separate the objects in which of the containers?
Um, copper coin and iron nail can be separated by magnet. Not steel.
Okay, this one
Nickel
can be
coin
done.
and steel nail also.
Nickel coin and steel nail. Very good, because
Mm.
nickel is also a magnetic object now.
Yes.
So thereby it is
And
on.
steel nail, no, only 1 and 4.
No, see, there's one more here. Steel nail and aluminum earring. Okay, now see, steel is also magnetic in nature. When we look at the steel, like it's an alloy of iron. Getting it? No? Steel is
Hmm.
an alloy of iron. So steel also is getting attracted towards a magnet. Okay, na?
Sir,
So steel.
if it was stainless steel, then it won't be would be right.
No, even if it is stainless steel, na, even if it is stainless steel, so then also it will be getting attracted towards a magnet. Steel is
Oh,
magnetic because anything that contains iron in it, it is going to be magnetic. Keep this thing in mind. Anything that contains iron in it is going to be magnetic. So steel nail and aluminum earring, that can also be separated via the use of a magnet. So thereby it is option number 1, 2.
1, 2, and 4. So the option number is C.
Okay. So now out of these, which one of them is a xerophyte?
Um,
Xerophyte, we know that the plants that have very little water in them. Huh?
yeah.
So which one of this have a which one of them is a xerophyte? Think of this.
Sir, fern.
Fern, you are saying.
Yeah.
Okay. What about others? You have several options given here.
Rose is in the no,
Rose is not
rose.
Rose is
Yeah.
not an example of a xerophyte. Okay, no? We have examples like aloe vera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Inside it have a water like gel form. That is what.
exactly. Okay, now basically the xerophytes would be plants that would be surviving on very little water. They can survive in the dry environments, like in the deserts. So we have examples of like, for example, cactus,
Yeah.
for example, aloe vera. So they are xerophytes here. So out of the given options here, like we have rose, prickly pear, pine, and fern. Out of this, which one of is xerophyte? Okay, no. So I think it should be the fern actually. Okay, no. Have you seen a
Yes.
have you seen a prickly pear?
No.
Prickly pear. Okay. Prickly pear is kind of a cactus. Okay, it's one of the kind of cactus actually. Okay, no.
Sir, is it like some of the cotton feathers and all on this?
No, no, not like that. Prickly pear will be like this. For example, let me just draw this. It will be kind of like this. Will have lots of thorns in it, like this. So it's kind of a
Oh,
cactus
this
actually.
one. Okay.
Yeah, and there will be red fruits that grow on it. Like these red structures will be
I
present.
have seen it in the picture, not on reality.
Yeah. So thereby the appropriate answer will be prickly pear, no? Okay, now, while
Prickly pear.
prickly pear, while fern, pine, and rose, they require good amount of water. Okay, no? So they can't survive in a scarcity of water. Got this, no?
Yeah.
So then which object will block the light and form a shadow on the wall?
Wooden block.
Clearly, it's a wooden block. Good. Next, plant X has needle-like waxy leaves, whereas plant X has ribbon-like leaves with numerous spaces in the body tissue. Identify the habitat.
X have needle-like waxy leaves. Needle-like means the cactus.
Needle-like
Oh,
means the Like basically the leaves are modified into thorns now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
So,
why plant Y has ribbon like leaves?
yes.
Mm. Sir, I didn't know ribbon like leaves.
Okay. See, basically, a plant that let us look at the plant X here. The plant that has this kind of leaf in it. Okay, now a plant X has needle-like waxy leaves. Let us pay attention to this one first of all. Okay, whereas plant Y has ribbon-like leaves. So what the
Yeah.
question is trying to say? Let me explain this first of all. Needle-like leaves we have seen in the case of like this prickly pear, as I told
Yeah.
you, needle-like leaves are present here, right? So a
Yeah.
plant that has a needle-like waxy leaves, so they would be present in both the dry and in the cold conditions. Like it will be present in the desert and in the mountains also. So plants that have a needle-like leaves or the waxy leaves, they are typically adapted to conserve the water. They can store water in them. Like the prickly pear or like the aloe vera, they have a needle-like leaf in it, so they can store water in it, and they are usually found in the uh, cold and the cold areas, and they can be found in the dry areas also, like in the desert and in the mountains. In both the places they can be found. That is one thing. Furthermore, uh, in the case of the plant Y, that has a ribbon like leaf. Ribbon like leaf, you're getting it like this, for example. It will be kind of like this. You know what is a ribbon now, for example? Like it will be kind of like
Yeah.
this. Okay, now. So especially the plants that are aquatic in nature, that are submerged in the water. So they will be having a ribbon-like leaf. Okay, now.
Oh,
So thereby they can easily float in the water. They can move along
the
with the water.
floating plants.
I'm not exactly talking about the floating plants. I'm basically saying that they will be submerged under the water. Submerged means inside the water.
Oh,
Okay, remember I showed you some of the images of the plants while we were doing the chapter reproduction.
yeah.
We'll be doing the chapter plants.
Adaptations.
Yeah,
Yes.
adaptation. So there I showed you some of the plants that are under the water, and they will be having a ribbon-like leaf that will be floating under the water. So that, and so they are very soft, so that they will not break. Okay, now
Mhm.
that is one thing. Okay, now. So what answer will be the correct one?
D1. X is polar and no, no. Yeah.
Polar and mountain.
Polar and wait.
Yeah, you are saying correct. In
wait.
fact, the
Polar
plant.
and mountain
Mhm.
region,
Mhm.
and Y is fully submerged plant.
Exactly. So the plant X is living in a polar or mountainous regions, while Y is fully submerged plant. Submerged here, it is submerged in the water. So thereby option D is the correct one. Now answer this one. A freely suspended magnet always rests in which direction?
North south.
It will be lying in the north-south
North
direction.
south.
Exactly. And we know what is the reason behind that, because we know
Yeah.
that Earth also has a magnetic field.
Earth itself is a magnet.
Exactly. So the magnet will align itself with the Earth's magnetic field, with one of its end pointing towards the geographic north, which is called as the north pole of the magnet, while the other
And the
end would be towards the
geographic
geographic
south,
south,
which will be the south pole.
south pole of the magnet. Getting it now? So
Yeah.
thereby it's the north pole, north south direction. Okay.
North south direction.
Okay. Now next question here is that a student takes some cold water in a beaker and dissolves 2 tablespoons of salt in it. When the student adds more tablespoon of salt in it, it gets settled. So thereby the solution at that time is called as saturated solution.
Yeah.
When no more solute can be dissolved in a solution, it is said to be a saturated solution.
Saturated.
But then what next is being done by the student? What does he do? He
Uh,
warms the water
yeah.
and observe that the salt disappears. So what can you say here? What is the heat
Uh,
doing? Mhm.
Heat increases the solubility of water. After heating, the solution becomes unsaturated. 2 tablespoons of salt make the solution unsaturated. Heat evaporates it. x. Um,
Mhm.
he warms the water and observes that the salt effect. Sir,
Yes.
is it um,
What we have learned, like how the like there we learned that once a solution becomes saturated, it becomes concentrated, where the no more solute can be added in it. But if you were to heat the solution, so its solubility increases now. It can dissolve more amount of solid in it now. So heating is increasing the solubility of water. Halima, pay attention in the class. So by heating the water, you are increasing the solubility of the water. Getting it what I'm trying to say? So thereby option number B is the correct answer to this. Option number B. Understood this so far now? Question number 10, you have to observe the different given figure here. There are three magnets here. Numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, they represent the poles of the magnet. Okay, so what can we say about this? Like, are the poles 1, 3, and 5 unlike poles? Or are they like poles? What can we say? Yes. For this, let us consider that this is the north pole, this is the south pole, this is the north pole, this is the south pole, north and south, right? Let us say we have written the given poles like this. Okay, what can we say about pole 1, 3, and 5? What can we say about these poles? Are they unlike poles 1, 3, and 5? Halima, you're on mute. Unmute yourself.
so they are unlike poles.
How are they unlike poles? What is
1, 3, and 5. Okay, then
one?
that is
So this
like
statement
poles.
becomes wrong. They are like
Yeah,
poles now. 2, 4, and 6. They are like poles. Is
unlike.
the statement true?
They are unlike, but that is wrong.
See again, na 2, 4, and 6. The statement says that 2, 4, and 6 are like poles. What do we know about like poles? If two poles of a magnets are same, north pole, they are like pole. South, they are like pole. North, like poles. South, they are like poles. Getting a Halima or not? North will be the like poles now. South will be the again like.
Like
Whether it be two poles or whether we have three poles or whether we have more than three poles. Getting it?
and S will be the unlike poles and S and will be the unlike.
No. Listen carefully to what I'm saying. Like poles, basically, when they are same, they are called as like poles. Like north or whether it be south, they are called as like poles. But if the poles are like this, say that if the poles are north and south, so they are unlike. They're different now, so they are called as unlike. Or if whether it be south north, same thing basically. So they are again unlike. But if the same poles are there, then they are called as like poles. Understanding this or getting confused?
Yes, sir.
So thereby the statement number 2, is it correct or false?
Uh,
Pay attention to the poles here. See, it's talking about 2. What is 2? Is it south or north?
south,
4 is,
south,
6 is.
south.
So all of them are like or unlike?
Like,
They are like now. So thereby the
yeah.
statement is true now.
Mm,
Okay, third statement. Pole 1 will attract pole 3 and 5. Is that true?
no.
No, because all of them are like poles. So how can attraction take place? Pole 4 will be attracted by pole 1.
No.
How is it so? Look at pole 4 and look at pole 1.
Sir, the answer is 2.
I- I'm not asking about the answer. Pay attention to what I have just asked you. Right now, what I asked you. Look at option number 4. It is saying that
Um,
pole pole number 4, that this one, and pole number 1, this one and this one, will they attract? Pole 4 will be attracted by pole 1,
Yes.
right now? Because pole 4 is south now, while pole
Yeah.
number 1 is north, so they obviously they're going to attract. So thereby 2 and 4 is correct. 2 and 4, that is option number B is correct here now. You don't only have to tick the answers in your sheet, you have to understand the concept as well, Halima. I hope you're getting it. Okay. Okay, read the question, what the question is saying.
Which of the following statement is incorrect? Cell is the structural unit of living things. Living and non-living things are made up of cells. Living and non-living things are made up of matter. Similar cells combine to form tissues.
What do you think? Which of this
Um,
statement is false here?
uh,
Is this first statement? Look at the first statement. Is that true or false? Yes.
sorry, it's true.
It's true now. We know that every living organism is made up of the smallest structural unit in them called a cell. So that is true. Okay. But we have to choose the incorrect statement.
Incorrect. Yeah.
So incorrect statement, second one is saying living and non-living things that are made up of cells. But we know that only living things are made up
Yes.
of cell. No? So therefore this statement is false. Let's look at the other statement also. Living and non-living things are made up of matter. Yeah, living and
True.
non-living things are made up of matter. That is true. Similar cells combines to form tissues. Yes, exactly. A group of
Yeah.
similar cells comes together to form tissues. So it's option number B that will be the right answer. Okay.
Yeah.
Now question number 12 and 13. So here two statements are given. One is assertion and one is reason. Okay, now first of all, you tell me, do you understand what is assertion and reason?
Yes.
What is it?
Sir, like assertion give the fact, and reason will be the is that fact true or like
Explanation to that given statement.
yes,
Assertion basically is an statement that is made. It is a statement. While the reason is basically it's a detailed explanation about that statement.
that statement.
Exactly. So it's the explanation made about that statement. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's continue with the question. So look at the first question here. What does it say?
Assertion is that iron is a non-magnetic substance.
Hmm.
Sir, it's false.
So assertion is false, while reason
Reason
is
is iron is attracted towards a magnet. Sir, both of them are false.
isn't iron attracted towards a magnet?
Sir, it is, but the reason is not related to the assertion.
See, that is not the thing here. See, basically, look, option number A, what it says here. Look at this here. And first of all, look at the question. Iron is a non-magnetic substance. That is obviously false. But
False. Yeah.
iron is attracted towards a magnet. That is true. So either both, is it that both assertion and reason are true? No. So thereby
Yeah.
the first option is not the right answer. Second option says that both of them are true and R is not the correct explanation. No, both of them again are not true. A is true but R is false. Is A?
No.
A is false but R is true. No?
Yeah.
Option number D. Okay. Now look at the 13th question. The place where organism lives is called habitat. Yes.
The place where yeah.
Exactly, the assertion is true, as a habitat is the place where living organism is. While the plant and animals that live on land are terrestrial animals. So the reason is it true?
The plants and animal live on
Yes.
sir, it's true.
The plants and animals that live on land are terrestrial animals. Okay. Yeah, the given statement is true here. Okay, na? Like it is saying that the plants and animals that live on land are terrestrial animals. But however, the reason does not explains the definition of a habitat here. So it is
Yeah.
not the correct explanation of the answers.
Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct answer.
Exactly. Why? Because the reason is not explaining about the
The habitat. It's only saying that it's about terrestrial.
exactly. So thereby the answer is both of them are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Understood this now? So
Yes.
this was for question number 12. For question number 3, it's option number A. Understood this now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now differentiate between homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. How are they different from each other? Yes, Salima, how are they different? Hmm?
Homogeneous mixtures are the mixtures that uh,
First of all, you can talk about the composition. That the components of a homogeneous mixture are evenly distributed throughout the mixture, and you cannot see the different substances. Like for example, when you dissolve the salt in water, can you see the salt and water separately? No, you can't, because the salt is distributed uniformly.
yes,
Getting it? Or same thing is true for like sugar in water or air, that is also a mixture of gas now. Can you say that this is nitrogen, this is oxygen, this is neon, this is argon, this is carbon dioxide? You can't spot at it and tell me that this is carbon dioxide, this one is this gas. So one thing is about the composition, uniform composition.
yes,
1 minute. So in the case of homogeneous, the composition is uniform. So they have a uniform composition. What about the heterogeneous mixture? They have a
ununiform,
non-uniform composition.
yeah.
Okay, na? So they have a
Non-uniform
non-uniform composition. While in the case of the homogeneous mixture, we can't see the components of the mixture. Okay, now you
yeah.
can't see the components. But in the case of
Undefinable.
yeah, exactly. But in the case of heterogeneous mixture, the components, since they are not evenly distributed, so you can easily see the different substances, different components present in a homogeneous mixture. For example, you have a salad. In the salad, you can see all the different components.
Yeah.
Oil and water. So when you have a mixture of oil and water, oil will float above the water because of its less denser, being less
Yeah.
dense. So that is the case. Okay, now hope you will be able to write the differences in this. Okay.
Yes.
So you have to explain the definition, talk about the composition, talk about in which one components will be visible, and give the examples also. Okay.
Yes.
So moving to the next question. Read the question number 15.
Imagine you are designing a simple pinhole camera to observe a solar eclipse.
Hmm.
What factors would you need to consider to ensure you get a closer and safe image of the eclipse? Discuss the importance of the pinhole size.
Okay, see, an important thing is that I would like to discuss your paper with you, but although the discussion class will be scheduled, but I would like to point out that in your test paper, in your division test paper, I saw that you have done mistakes in some very basic questions. Like you will required to give the answer as a pinhole camera, instead you have given periscope. The question was something like, with the help of which instrument we can obtain images of sunlight, obtain images of sun. So in the class, like while we were revising about the pinhole camera, so there we did learn that a pinhole camera will be forming the image of the sun also. Like for example, in a closed room, for example, if we were to shut the doors and windows of our room and even the ventilators, and say that there's a small hole in one of the wall or the ceiling of the room, so you can see the formation of a circle in the ground. That bright circle will be formed on the ground. Have you ever observed that?
Sir, in between of the trees, or I mean the leaves also.
There also, no? So, but you
Yeah.
have wrote periscope there. Periscope is not not the right answer to that question. Okay, no?
Yes.
So, anyways, when the discussion class will be scheduled, we'll be discussing about it. Okay, now. Also, in the test paper, it is recommended to solve only those questions that are assigned to you, or like follow the instructions. Okay, now. Just let me read the instructions for you. Just give me a minute. Okay, now. Today I got the see, like there are different sections in the test paper. When you'll be giving the revision test, different sections are there. Like for example, section number 1, your total marks of the paper is of 20. Getting it, Harima? Section
Yes.
A contains about 10 multiple choice questions, and you have to attempt only 6 out of it. Okay, no? Only 6 out of it. But you have attempted all of it anyways, that is okay. But in the long run, try to follow the instructions. Getting it, no? Similarly, instructions are
Yes.
given for other sections also. Okay, now like in some of the section, you have to attempt only 2 out of all the given questions. In some, you
Yes.
have to attempt only 1. Okay, Halima?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, let's do the question number 16. So a student requires 2 magnet. Okay, we're doing a question number 15 actually. Imagine you are designing a simple pinhole camera to observe a solar eclipse. So what factors would you need to consider to ensure you get a clear and safe image of the eclipse? First of all, you think about this and I will be helping you in it then.
So you need um,
What we know
a
that
translucent paper.
basically just take a pinhole camera. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But the important thing is that the smaller pinhole creates a sharper image.
Yeah.
Smaller the pinhole.
But
Mhm.
blur image.
No, not blur. Not blur. See, if the pinhole camera is not small, like if the pinhole is very small, so the image form will be more sharp. Getting it now? So the size of the pinhole is very important for obtaining the clarity of the image. A smaller pinhole
Yeah.
creates a sharper image. As light
Yes.
rays entering through the smaller hole will be converging accurately to form the image. It will form an accurate image. However, if the pinhole is too small, the image may become very dim. It might become blurred. So it
Yeah.
has to be of right size. It should not be very small, not extremely small. Okay, that is one thing.
Yes. Medium.
Further, exactly. Okay, now further, the ideal pinhole size that we need to that is required here in order to like in the case of to observe the solar eclipse. So the pinhole should have a diameter of about 1 millimeter. How much? 1 millimeter.
1 millimeter.
So this should be the diameter. It should be about 1 millimeter. Okay, na? Around 1 millimeter.
Yeah.
So this is generally effective for getting a clear image of the sun while maintaining enough brightness in this also. That is one thing. Plus the
Yes.
material and its screen, you already know that the camera should be made of an opaque object to prevent unwanted light from entering and from interfering with the image. So the object that we are going to use to make the pinhole camera should be opaque.
Opaque.
And the screen that you are going to use here, in which the image will be obtained, it should be a smooth screen. Okay, na?
Yeah.
Or it should be white colored. Okay, na?
The
That is
screen. Yes.
exactly. Plus the distance between the pinhole and the screen, like the distance between this pinhole and the screen. Getting it? What I'm trying to say? This is the pinhole and
Yes,
this is
sir.
the screen. So it should be longer. When you increase the distance between the pinhole and the screen here, no, so it forms a larger image. However, the distance should not be too large. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, however, the distance should not be too large, but it should be adequate. Let's say we can make it to usually about like it should be between 50 to 30 centimeter. How much of distance should be there? It should be about
50 to 30 centimeters.
yeah. So this distance should be about 15 to 30 centimeter, not more than that. So these are the things we are going to take care of, right? Plus the camera needs to be stable and it has to be positioned in the right manner so that sunlight passes through the pinhole. Getting it now? Like sunlight is coming from this direction, I'm not going to hold it in the other directions. Okay. Plus, since it's a solar eclipse, so never look directly at the sun without proper protection. Getting it now? So even if it's a solar eclipse, never look directly at the sun. Okay, now so the pinhole camera is actually a safe way to observe the solar eclipse because it is projecting the sun's image rather than our eyes being exposed to the sunlight. So we are getting to see the sun on a screen now. We are not directly looking at the sun. You getting the thing now? So we can sum it up that pinholes, the size of the pinhole camera is very important for getting a clear image of the solar eclipse. And the camera design should also be proper. There should be right distance between the pinhole and the screen of it. Hope you have understood this.
Yes, sir.
Good. So two things, make sure the two factors you write down in the answer. The size of the pinhole, it should be about 1 millimeter, and the distance between the pinhole and the screen. All right, no? And what would you write in this? Discuss the importance of the pinhole size.
Sir, it will not expose, like, it will not expose our eyes. It will help us.
No. Discuss the importance of the pinhole size. Now that is what is being asked here, no? Halima. Importance of pinhole size. So pinhole size, this is what is being asked here, no? So we know that if the size of the pinhole is smaller, then sharp image is formed, no?
Sharper the image will be formed.
Exactly. But it should not be too small, then dim image will be
Too
formed.
small, so that
Then
the image will be blur and it will also be dim.
exactly. Okay. All right then. Now question number 16, read the question.
Sir, it should not be too small so that the image will be blur and also it will be dim.
Exactly. Okay, no? So it should be about like 1 millimeter. Okay, no? So a student is requiring 2 magnetic substances for a science project, but he could find only one magnet, and thus he decided to make another magnet from it. So mention the steps that he is going to follow. Yes.
Sir, it is a stroking method.
By the
Sir,
stroking method,
just
yeah.
take an iron nail and then take one of the pole of the iron nail. I mean, sorry, the magnet, and then stroke it with the magnet. Stroke it to the iron nail with the magnet
Exactly.
for
And
at least 10 to 20 times.
20 to 30 times.
Oh yeah, 20 to 30.
Make sure you don't change the pole. Say I have taken this magnet and this is an iron nail, so I'm going to stroke it like this. I'm not going to change it. The pole should be same. Okay.
Yes.
So thereby, for a temporary period of time, that iron nail or whatever that magnetic object is going to acquire some magnetic property. That is, it becomes magnetized. Okay, no, that is one thing. Other methods.
Sir,
What
it
other
will be
methods?
permanent magnet only, right?
Yeah, for the stroking method, you will be using a permanent magnet. Okay. Yeah, and what are the other methods you can use? Like, say for example, I'm just asking you. Let's say I'm giving you a different question. Let's say if I were to provide you with a battery, with a copper wire, and an iron nail, how are you going to make that iron nail magnetic?
Sir, take the copper wire
Mhm.
Put, I mean,
Yeah, take the copper
mm,
wire, roll it on the iron nail, and connect the ends of the copper wire to the terminal of the.
to the battery. Yeah.
Exactly. So connect it like this and connect to a battery. So as the
Yeah.
current will pass through it, it will become magnetic. So
A magnet.
it is magnetized. Getting it
Yeah.
done? Okay, read the next question.
A student conducts an experiment when he places some magnet in a different order as shown in the image. We write the properties based on the observation. Sir, the first one, it is uh,
Yes. What do we know? Like, how should we store the magnets? Yeah.
store the magnet.
Yeah. How do we store the magnets?
Unlike poles,
Should be placed
with,
alongside each other,
yeah,
right now?
yeah,
Getting it now. So basically, the thing here is that some of the key properties we have to take care of. The question is asking what write the properties based on the observation. Okay, no. So he like this boy has conducted some activity here, an experiment where he placed some magnets in a different order. So he had taken four magnets. The above two magnets were placed in such a order that the north and south poles were placed
are
in such an order
attractive.
that they are attracted. So the
Yeah.
basically we know the property of the magnet is that unlike poles attract no
Yeah. And
while
like poles repel.
repel. So that
Yeah.
is the thing. Okay, now so you have to explain this in the form of a sentence. Okay, now when you will be explaining this. Yeah. How would you convert a saturated solution to an unsaturated? Yeah, that's a good question. Yes. Think of this.
Mm,
In fact, remember the example of that salt and water solution. Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So how are you going to do that?
Um, just uh,
Mm-hmm.
put some salt, like put 4 spoon of salt.
Okay. See, you are provided with a glass of water and you have added some salt in it. Okay, na? Let's say that you have added 4 tablespoons of salt in a glass of water and you are no more able to dissolve any salt in it. So that solution has become saturated.
Hmm.
Okay, no? Halima, please sit in a room which is like this. Please sit in a quiet room. Say that this is you have taken a glass of water and you have added some salt in it. Let's say you have added 4 tablespoons of salt in this. Okay, now, and after adding 4 tablespoons of salt in this, you are no more able to dissolve any salt. So this solution has now become
Saturated.
saturated. Very good. Now to make it unsaturated, either I can add some more water in it, either I can add some more water in it, isn't it? Let's just add some more water in it, then it will become
Yes.
unsaturated. Or either I can heat this now, either we can
Yeah.
heat this. So by heating or by adding more water in it, it will become unsaturated. Understood this now? So that is the thing. By increasing the either by increasing the amount of solvent, like for example water, or by increasing the temperature, it can become an unsaturated solution. Hope that helps and hope that you have
Yes, sir.
understood this. Okay, right. The adaptation in the rainforest due to which leaves do not rot or get damaged in rain, plus plants that grow near the ground absorbs maximum sunlight. Yes. In fact, we did learn about these interesting things in the class.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Um, leaves do not rot.
Hmm.
Sir,
There was a very interesting thing which I told you guys. In fact, I showed you the images of those leaves also.
Sir, they have waxy coating on the leaf.
Exactly, waxy coating. And one more thing.
Um, do not get damaged in the rain.
No. That's not the thing. See, the leaves would be kind of like this.
Oh, broad. Oh, tip
Not broad.
drips.
Drip tips, you mean to say.
Yeah.
Okay, na? This thing. Okay, na? Very good. The first thing in them is that they are
They have
having a
waxy
waxy coating.
coating, and then they are having the dip drips.
Drip tips. Okay, na? So, where did the question went? Yeah. Waxy coating plus drip tips. Well done. Okay, na? So thereby, like
Yeah.
many rainforests would be having this waxy surface, which should be preventing the water from sticking to the leaf. So thereby, it reduces the risk of the decaying of the leaf. Okay, no? Usually, you will see that if there's a plant and if it is continuously exposed to water, so its chances of becoming damaged increases. Now, plants that grow near the ground absorb maximum sunlight. Yes, this thing also we know.
Sir, they have broad leaves.
Exactly. As we know that
So in
rain.
that they can absorb maximum of sun.
Exactly. As we know that rainforests have a very dense canopy now, and that dense canopy blocks most of
Yes.
the sunlight from reaching the forest floor. So plants that will be growing near the ground, they have evolved in such a manner that they have large broad leaves, and these leaves will be maximizing the surface area so that they can absorb as much as sunlight as possible, so that they will
Yes.
be increasing the efficiency of photosynthesis. So even in the low light conditions, they will be able to survive. Okay, now. Okay, next
Yes.
question we have. During lab experiments, Amal tested the sample of milk and he observed a violet color. Explain the test he was conducted that was conducted by Amal. In fact, we did this in the chapter components of
Sir, starch.
again you're giving the same answer which you gave in the class as well, Halima. No, you forgot about it again.
Violet color. Violet color is.
I'm giving you a hint. Yeah, I'm giving you a hint. Yes, it starts with B. That is the Buret test now. Remember, the Buret test is done to test or to detect the presence of proteins in any given food. And milk contains lots of protein in it. Getting it
Yes,
now?
sir.
So when you will be adding few drops of Buret solution to the milk, the sample of the milk turns violet. Getting it now? So
Yes, sir.
therefore, this is how it basically works. So hope you are getting it, and I hope you will be remembering this. Okay, now.
Yes.
Question number 21. Suggest the methods to store the magnets.
Bar magnet and horseshoe shape. Sir, bar magnet is
Hmm.
uh,
Yes.
sir, in the middle of each, I mean, we have to put it in unlike poles
Okay.
placed together, and then in the middle we have to put a strip of wood.
Yes. See, basically, what we can do now. First thing is that here you have added some of the points, and that is valid. That is correct. For example, take a horseshoe magnet like this. Okay, now this one is north. This one is south pole. Take another horseshoe magnet that is placed alongside like this. This one is south
Yeah,
pole. This one is north pole. And in between that, we take a soft iron. We are taking a soft iron.
Iron.
Yeah, we take a soft iron. Okay, na?
Sir, but ma'am told to put take a
Mhm.
mm, wooden
Wooden
strip.
block. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting it. What I'm trying to say. Okay, now basically what we're going to do here, we are storing the bar magnets in the horizontal position. Basically, like what do we do with the case of the bar magnets? Say that this is a bar magnet. Okay, so we have placed them in the horizontal positions like this.
Yeah.
North, south. This is north. This is south, like this. And it should also be kept away from any electronic devices, by the way, so that because it can damage the electronic devices
Yes.
anyways. Plus what we do, we take a soft iron bar and we place it across the ends of the magnet. What we do, we are going to take a soft iron magnet, a soft iron bar like this, and we're going to
Yes.
place it across it. This actually prevents the magnets from becoming demagnetized. It prevents it from demagnetizing over time.
Demagnetizing the magnet.
Exactly. And in between it, now in between the two magnet, here we are going to place the wooden block. Now you're getting the difference, what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now? So there the wooden block is kept, but at the poles, at the edges, at the
The
poles, the soft iron bar is placed. Getting
soft
it?
iron bar is
Okay, now?
placed.
So hope you are understanding this. Okay, now? Plus, like the soft iron easily gets magnetized. Okay, now? It easily gets magnetized. So thereby it is called a soft iron. Got this now? So for making electromagnets, usually soft iron is preferred, by the way, because it easily gets magnetized. Okay. We already know that why a compass always points in north direction. Explain this.
Yes, sir. Because of the Earth is also a
Giant
huge
magnet, no?
magnet,
Mm. And we know that the
so it
magnetic.
always points in the north direction.
Okay, but that does not explain the whole thing now. We know that the magnetic north pole is where the Earth's magnetic field points vertically downwards. Basically, I
Yes.
mean to say that the Earth acts like a giant magnet which has a magnetic field, and the
Yes.
magnetic poles of the Earth are not exactly at the geographical poles, but they're kind of located nearby. But nonetheless, when you look at the actual geographical north pole of the Earth, but in terms of a magnet, that is actually a south pole of the magnet now. See that
Yeah.
this is a Earth. See that this is the geographical north pole now. Geographical north pole. This is geographical south pole. That we study in geography now. But when we talk about the Earth being a magnet, so it is kind of like this. This one is the south pole of the Earth magnet. This is the north pole. And say you're holding a piece of compass in your hand, and compass has a needle. 1 minute. Compass has a needle in it,
Yes.
and that needle is
Facing to the north direction.
1 minute. That needle
North
is
side.
like this. Yeah. And this is the north pole of the needle. This is the south pole of the needle. So the north pole will always get attracted towards the south pole, no? While south will be attracted towards the north pole of the Earth's magnets. That's why
Yes.
the compass always points in the north direction of the Earth. Okay. Okay. Next question. Do we have time left? Yeah, we have some time left. Okay. Differentiate between the roots of the aquatic plants and the terrestrial plants. Yes.
Sir, okay. Roots of the aquatic. Sir, roots of the aquatic plants are not fixed to the ground. They can float and
Okay.
they can float in the water, and for the terrestrial plant, they are deep fixed in the fixed in the soil, so
Okay.
that even if the grazing sheep like eat the grasses, it won't get uprooted with the roots.
Okay. And
And also it can regrow.
okay. Okay. You have added some of the points. Let me add few more points in it. When we look at the root structure of the aquatic plants and at the
Yeah.
terrestrial plants, generally the roots of the terrestrial plants are more well developed. Okay, na? They are more well developed, and they are firmly attached to the soil, and they get all the water and nutrients from the soil, from the ground. So they are well developed. Aquatic terrestrial roots are well developed. Okay,
Well
now,
developed.
while the aquatic roots are less developed. That is one thing. Furthermore,
Yeah.
roots will be serving to anchor the plant and also will be storing the nutrients. In the case of the terrestrial plant, what do? They anchor the plant
Yeah.
plus store nutrients in them. So that's why some of the roots are edible now.
Yes.
Huh? Give some example of edible roots, Halima.
So the carrot, potato,
Yeah. Okay, now they are.
ginger. Ginger is not a root.
It's a underground stem, by the way.
Oh.
Okay, now. So radish, beetroot, or like
Yeah.
turnip or carrot. Huh? So all of these are some of the edible roots of the plants, by the way. Getting it? Okay, that is one thing. Furthermore, we get to see that in the case of the aquatic plants, so roots may be used for anchoring, but often their primary function would be to absorb the nutrients from the plants. Okay, no? So they may be used
Yes.
for anchoring the plant. But what is their primary objective? Main objective is to absorb
Absorb the nutrients
from where? From the soil or from the water?
from the soil. No, from the water.
From the water, no? That is one thing. Plus, they are filled with air cavities in them. When we look at the root of the aquatic plants, they are filled with air molecules so that they can
Yeah.
float in the water and
Float in the water.
gases exchange takes place them.
Yeah.
While in the case of the terrestrial plants, they have deep roots, and those deep roots will be reaching to the groundwater and will get the groundwater. Okay.
Yeah.
Further, in the case of the like aquatic plants, their roots, like they would be found in the water bodies like ponds, lakes, rivers. That is one
Yeah.
thing. They can either be fully submerged or either can be floating on the